Okay, so first things first, this is like my fifth take of this video and I have not got the introduction right. So first things first, hi everyone, welcome. This is a full moon video. This goes under the new moon, full moon category, but this is a full moon video. And this video is for the full moon in Leo, you all. Happy full moon in Leo. It is your girl, the memory astrologer. All right, you all, please remember to do your 3 deep cleansing breaths. In from your nose and slowly out your mouth. To be open, to be aware, and to be ready for this weekly, oh my goodness, for this monthly message. So when I say monthly message, I'm genuinely saying this full moon in Leo, to the next full moon. That is 1 month. All right, you all, not for February. Now it could be, but we're gonna really tell you it's for this full moon in Leo, to the very next full moon. All right, y'all? All right. If you would like to read any of the previous astronauts, I almost said astronauts. If you all would like to come on over to the Playful platform or Patreon, the link to the Patreon link is in the description box below, but it's also in the Linktree. Link in the description box below. If you all would like to send a love offering, the Cash App link is in the description box below, but the wish list link is in the Linktree link in the description box below. All right, you all. All right, you all. Please remember to subscribe. Thumbs up this video. Send and share this video out. People who make you feel good. People who allow you to continue growing and blossoming into the person that you are destined to be. All right, you all. Please send it with those groups, those organizations, and those people, all right? I love you all. I am so grateful for you all. And let's get into this message. I almost said video. So, first things first, y'all. I printed out the full moon in Leo astrology chart, but I have written all over it, so I'm not going to be showing it up close and personal, really, but I'll be very descriptive in how I'm describing it. All right, y'all? Okay. So, first things first, the ascendant is 18-degree Gemini. And the first thing that came to my head was sensory adaptations. So we need to, yes, we're going to be feeling everything. We're going to be very sensitive. But also let's be very mindful of the ways that we're thinking. So let's be mindful of how we're communicating with ourselves. Let's be mindful about our hands, our antennas, you feel me, our hair, our skin. Let's just be mindful of it. These areas are sensitive. So when these areas are sensitive, that means we need to be extra careful, extra cautious, and just be mindful of really what it means, okay? So when I say sensory adaptations, I really think that to assist with our emotions, to assist with our desires, to assist with our continuous development, that we need to really get in touching things. So that means feeling things, vibrations. That can also mean caring for oneself and nourishing oneself better. And that could look like, touch, physical touch, maybe a massage, you feel me? Because I also did write this down that we should either think about scheduling more frequent massages or getting into a nighttime, morning time routine of stretching and massaging. But I'm moving a little bit too fast, okay, you all? This is just some overviews that I wanted to share so I don't forget, because I'm really just reading off the chart. I wrote some notes, but oh yeah, and I also, you feel me? I was going deep in it. I'm like, let's really get into it, all right, you all? Because I want the best for you all, because I want the best for myself. So, Gemini 18, let's see. Okay, I like it. Mercury intensifies. So where's Mercury at? The chart ruler is in the 8th house. It's in Capricorn, of course, and it's in 22 degrees. So I really want us to look at that antenna conversation. I want us to be very mindful of how we are communicating with ourselves, how we are developing ourselves, how we are really understanding ourselves. I need us to be more compassionate in the way that we communicate with ourselves, how we look at ourselves, the words that we say to ourselves, the thoughts that we think about ourselves. Because my question overall for this full moon is, who told you to not like yourself? Who taught you to not like yourself? You feel me? Like, I understand that through situations, it made us uncomfortable about ourselves, about our exertion, about our passions, about our desires. And I need us to know that we should be able to see how far we've came. We should be able to grow and to see ourselves and to shine our light. That is what we're going to be focusing on, growing to see ourselves, to shining our lights, because we are so unique. We are so creative. We are so, it's like we are so undefined. And that's the part, we have such a small understanding of ourselves. The sun, you feel me? The sun is a period inside of a larger circle. That means we have that very small focus, that very small awareness inside of the greatness. So why not adventure to that? And I'm really jumping ahead, but I had to say that because you are a wonderful, intelligent, creative being, and you are very important. You are very beautiful, and you're very desired. And right now, we should take a moment to step back, to realize the greatness within ourselves, the wonder within ourselves, the passion that's within ourselves. We should initiate that right now, this month, full moon, this full moon to the next full moon. We should see how far we've came so we can applaud ourselves. Alrighties, but let's keep going. On the ascent, okay, Gemini 18, we already talked about Mercury's being the chart ruler. Mercury's currently in Capricorn. Capricorn is in the 8th house right now. So really our awareness is on, you feel me, on other people. Yeah, it's really our awareness of ourselves is on other people. But here it also needs to be on our systems, on our habits. If we're looking at other people, are we really being aware of our own personal needs, our own personal habits, our own personal routines? And I really like this chart because it starts off with, you feel me, our awareness of independence. You're like, girl, why does that even matter? Because I promise you, every time you grow independence, you've gained a new responsibility. You've gained a new maturity. You gained like this new awareness of the world. So that period, that very small dot, you feel me? That very small dot then became larger and larger and larger. So because of these first independences, because of these second independences, because of our foundational independence, that means our parents' independence, our grandparents' independence, our ancestors' independence, our siblings' independence, because of the awareness of the environmental's independence. That means our people might have traveled into new situations, new environments, new neighborhoods, new communities, and you didn't previously know that was over there, but then you knew how to work the city from that standpoint to get what you need to go. So because of these very small steps, or because of these very independences that each person had to make, it allows you to have an independence. It's allowed you to grow up and to experience life. So let's think of your first independence. Let's think of, you feel me, what's that? Going to school, you feel me? Being able to walk to school, being able to ride your bike in the community, being able to walk through your community and to know where things are. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. And I want us to think about that and to hold that awareness of that independence and allow us to know, or I want you to think about how much you've grown from that. You feel me? How much you've grown from your mama saying, here's your keys, don't lose them. Now you got your own house, you got your own car, you got your own kids, you got your own awareness of the world. You got your own awareness of the world. All right, you all. So on the ascendant, it is Mars and it's 11 degree and it is in Gemini. and it's in the 12th house. And I like this because I originally asked who made you not like yourself. And here it can allow us to see our motives, see our desires, see how we have grown, how we have understood ourselves, how we have understood the environment, how we have strategically grew up. And sometimes when we're not aware of that, when we don't take use of the reflection, we don't really see the own growth and maturity of ourselves. But I need us to be mindful of that. Reflecting, that means stopping, that means slowing down more. Here it's a whole lot of you, we, everybody. Wants to do, wants to try, want to attain, want to grow, want to learn about others. But I feel like at this very moment, what all have you learned from others, and what have you taken in and understood better? How have you seen how others have developed you? So I want to call this reading the conscious devotion to defining and establishing freedom. The conscious devotion to defining and establishing freedom. Period. I was also going to tell you all at the very end that we need to uptake our water intake, and our water bottle went off in the back, so maybe we need to hear this right now. There's a whole lot of it's on my tongue. A whole lot of it's a whole lot of air, whole lot of it's like a whole lot of doing and thinking and contemplating. You feel me? It's like up here and then it's like out here. So I need us to be calm in here. You feel me? Like, how can we internally calm ourselves down? How can we internally calm ourselves down? To refocus, to re-strategize, to redefine, to reestablish. Because we need to see the growth of ourselves. We need to see the force, the strength that we really have. We talked about the Mars in the 12th house. But there's also this hidden sense of like being misunderstood. So if there's this hidden sense of being misunderstood, I need us to be very mindful about what we're saying, how fast we're saying, what we're doing, how fast we're doing. Think before we react. There's a very short fuse. Think before we react. Sensory adaptations. If we feel ourselves being angry or flustered or irritated, let's move our hands. Let's use our hands. Let's incorporate sensory things. You feel me? Sense sand. Maybe that's I don't know, chewing gum, girl. I don't know. That may be shuffling cards. Shuffling cards really do it for me. You feel me? That may be filling the water bottles and the water balloons, and you can feel like the different forms. That could be like touching jelly, or like the thingies the gummies that can spread out, but you can use them for your hands and not chew them. That could be touching different fabrics, different things, and how they feel on your skin. That could be a rubber band ball and like bouncing it. You feel me? It's hand sensitivity, sensory adaptations that need to go on. And honestly, we can use this to our benefit, like long term. Anything you learn this month, full moon to full moon, use it in your life, because this is growing your awareness of, your own habits, your own health, your own routines, your own personal needs. But this is also building an efficient self. This is also building better values and foundations that match those values. Foundations that match those values. We want to be on the same page, mentally, physically, emotionally. Physically is going to be our house. Physically is going to be our environment. How can our environment, how can our internal house, how can this all stay balanced? How can this all be in balance? That means we need to check in more often with ourselves. That may mean after a long day of work, you feel me? You've been on your feet. Now let's give your feet massages and toe massages and finger massages. Let's also just be mindful of your motives. Be mindful of other people's motives. Okay? Take it all in. When I say that, because as I said that Mars is on the ascendant, because the ascendant is 18 degree, Mars would be close degree orbit. This not really close, but this is more so like a 10 degree orbit. So I'm going to take it into account. Okay? And it's DNA, and I taken it into account because this is an aspect that we need to use. Mars in the 12th house is telling us that we have a sensitive mind, sensitive internally, sensitive body parts, sensitive head. So be mindful about the communication that you're getting. Sensitive fingers, sensitive antennas. So that means you can pick up on things. So because of that, I want us to be very mindful about the omens, about the messages, about the ancestral communication that is coming in. Let's be mindful of this and use it to our benefit to assist us. This is a whole lot of trusting the intuition, trusting the internal sources, and keeping them in balance so you can be able to trust them, so you can be able to hear them to trust them, so you can be able to have faith in them, okay? This is really the growing of faith. Internally, how can you internally be aware of yourself? That means a lot of self-control. That means a lot of calming down and meditation and determining what does meditation look like for you. That looks like connecting to your body, doing mindfulness check-in, and understanding what your body, how it communicates to you. How it communicates to you. Some things that I wrote down because I have been a little rambling in my head is that work on self-assertion, not moving body, ? So we need to be thinking about how we're moving our body and getting to a routine of moving our body, especially starting now, this full moon, this month, you know, full moon to full moon. There's also a lot of built-up thoughts personally, and I need us to be very mindful of how our thoughts can impact us. We need to be thinking about them. We need to be understanding them, dissecting them, you feel me? And then releasing them. To move past them, you feel me? I also want us to be very mindful. I'm not going to do a little rambling, okay? Because I saw something that I want to work on for us in general. So Cancer is in the 2nd house, and the moon, full moon in Leo, the ruler of the moon will be, the ruler of the moon is, oh my God, you know what I'm trying to say. Cancer, moon, together. All right, you all. So I'm having a lot of things going on in my brain, and I want us to stay on the same page. So, because the ruler of Cancer is the moon, and the moon is in the 3rd house, let's talk about what's going on in Cancer. Cancer has Pallas Athena 11 conjunct Sirius 14. So immediately what I want us to know is that if you all have children, I want you all to validate and nourish and like vocally validate the child, vocally understand that child, vocally assure that child. And I truly want us to talk about that because Pallas Athena's back history, it's a slight conversation of parental awareness of that. And I need us, I don't want to really go deep into it, but I really need us to work on parental awareness with children. I want parents to be able to share their stories with their children. I want them to be able to share their point of view about their life their experiences with their child. And through that conversation, through those experiences, you can allow the child to broaden their sun, broaden their awareness of the world, but also it can allow the relationship to grow stronger. Yeah, to really grow stronger. I think that's very beautiful. I also want us to be very mindful, especially women, about our balance internally, especially with our food intake, our habit intake, our emotion intake, and it's really our food. I need us to really up our water. Yeah. I also want us to be very mindful about our own awareness and experiences with our parents as an adult, but also your experiences as a child, your foundational awareness of your parent, those experiences, what you went through with them. And I want you to be able to just look at that, because we all need to look at that from a generational standpoint, and I also want us to look at that from a cultural standpoint. I also want us to think about our short-term and long-term goals for ourselves, our needs, our own personal needs, and our own personal developments. All right, you all. Yeah, let's really get into now this full moon. All right, you all. We're finally in the full moon. All right, 21:37. That's the time. Happy full moon, and the moon is in 16-degree Leo. So first things first, what I thought in my head was work on visualization. So when we were originally saying that sensory adaptations, let's get our hands involved, but also let's really get our minds involved. So the ways that we're thinking about, the things that we're thinking about, let's be mindful and let's make them more positive, especially regarding our short-term and our long-term goals. Short-term and long-term goals regarding ourselves, regarding our development, regarding our needs, regarding our wants, regarding really what we're aspiring to be. And I really need us to be very mindful about really engaging and feeling and not the performative side. All right, just really be understanding and reflective of how you're feeling, how you're engaging, what you're giving your energy to. All right, you all. This is a really good time to understand yourself, understand your sensualness, understand your, it's really like a root chakra, self-confidence, sacral vibe going on right here. And it's like we have to really get back attached to the inner being of ourselves. Yeah. Our sexual desires, our sexual drives, our sexual awareness. That means our animalistic portions. That means getting aware of like our inner intuition. And really, what does that look like? And that's each person's define, each person to reassure, and each person to like continue to develop. But it really, through that, it allows us to work and gain clear understanding about ourselves, better understanding about our awareness, better understanding about our body. But it also builds our self-confidence, our personal values, our personal morals, our awareness of our own body, of our own senses. Yeah, I think that's very beautiful, because it allows us to know how much we've grown from a child, as in a pre-adult, even a little pre-adult, an adult, as a parent. Look at all the hats you wear. Look at all the hats you wear. All right, you all. So some things that I want us to be aware of is that our chart ruler was in the 8th house, so we need to learn a lot. We're learning a lot through others. So this is a lot of tried and learned situations that we can use to our benefit. It's also, we need to feel our feelings and not analyze them. There's also like this silent awareness of like underwater or deep sea creatures being found, or more so discovered, happened upon, to be honest. We are also defining our meaning of privacy, our meaning and our definitions of nourishment and privacy through the ages. As a child, what did you define as private? As an adult, what do you define as private? I also need us to be very mindful of, or more so think about how we can work on visualization with our goals and like a goal setting technique with that. So a lot of people would do with photos and they write it down. If we do a photo and a video that says it out loud, so say for instance, you put on the chart and it says you want to become a better, I don't know, an artist that paints with paint, I don't know. So then you will have something in your ear that says, I am a great painter. Oh no, I unleash my inner creativity. You feel me? So you will hear vibrational music like that, and you're physically writing out. So I think that's whamming on the visualization. So you're physically hearing it to visualize it, and you're physically like, putting it down as a manifestation of real life. So you put it down and you actualize it. So you visualize it here with pictures, and you visualize it here in your mind. So you get what I'm trying to say? Okay, cool. I also need us to be very mindful about our bedroom ventilation. So make sure you crack a window. It might be a little dry in your bedroom. Also think about our skin. Our skin might be a little dry. The sun was in Capricorn and the sun is in the 8th house. So it is looking at other people. So I really just feel like, what is that? A dry, yes, that house is very watery and now it's dry. So yeah, let's just be very mindful of our skin, of our nails, of our feet, of our hair, of our skin. It might be dry in our room, so let's think about adding moisture and adding ventilation in our bedrooms, in our environments. I love this. I love this so much. We are really doing a really good job. So when I originally asked you all, who taught you to not trust yourself? Who taught you to not like yourself? I'm really saying it as the instance of who taught you to ignore yourself, to ignore your instincts, to ignore your intuition, to ignore your feelings, to ignore your mind, to ignore your identity and your thoughts. Who told you that? Who taught you to ignore the inner will and your inner desires? And how can we grow slowly and steady to reassuring, to growing our own inner desires, our own control of self, our own governance of self? How can we do that? What does that look like? What do you need to grow that? So for me if I've been ignoring my body, maybe I will pick up that class that I wanted to try for a very long time. Maybe I'll wear that shirt that's very flattering on me. And you feel me? Like, it's ways of how can we provide the nourishment and the validation of self to self, regarding self. Are you that you wanted to become as a child? When you was a child, you was like, this is the adult I wanted to be when I grow up. Are you that person? And if not, what are the steps? What are the strategic steps that you can take to step into being that adult, to step into growing that awareness, growing that strength? All right, you all. I love you. I love you so much. But let's get into these prescriptions. So prescriptions: uptake and stretching, massaging hands, feet, fingers, toes, and nails, oil hair, oil skin. Uptake and retention of hair, skin, like water, like uptaking your water retention regarding your hair, skin, cuticles, working your bedroom ventilation, working on expressing and not harboring emotions. Also, some games such as matching games, memory games, I Spy, reading books with pictures, and card games will be very helpful for this month. Work on visualization, you all. Remember to cover your mouth when you're coughing, and if other people are coughing, to make sure that the room is well ventilated. Two, you're being mindful of like the intake of things. All right, you all. Intake of things like being very mindful about your respiratory health. That's what I'm really trying to say. So be mindful of asthma, bronchitis, smoking heavy, Be mindful of your lungs. Yeah. And what's your diaphragm? In your esophagus. We have to be mindful of these. What is something that we can take to or what is something that we can do to strengthen our diaphragm, to strengthen our breathing muscles? This is an area that we need to think about, be aware that it is a little sensitive, and ask ourselves, how can we continuously grow it? So for me, I need to work on deep breathing. I need to work on stretching. I need to work on keeping my hands and my feet and my hair and my skin more moisturized. Maybe also keeping my humidifier on to make sure that it's moisture in the air so my skin won't dry out, so my hair won't dry out. Work on self-exertion. Work on self-exertion. Work on self-exertion. Okay, you all, let's look at the songs and let's get into this oracle message. All right, you all. So the songs that I heard when I was originally reading this or doing this chart was Could You Be Loved by Bob Marley, U.N.I.T.Y by Queen Latifah, Megan's Piano by the Megan Thee Stallion, and The Animals by Emily King. So when I heard The Animals, it really made me think of where Saturn is. So let me think about that right. Let me see where Saturn is right now. Saturn is currently, right there in the 10th house, right on the MC. Yeah, we need to be very mindful of how we're communicating with ourselves. 26, what's that? Ooh, yeah, about our own personal values. We might be a little fixed in our mindset about growth and our awareness about where we currently are. So yeah, I need us to be very mindful about how we're using our energy, about who we are connecting with, friend groups, relationships wise. And I need us to take a step back before making decisions. All right, y'all. Oh, wait, I have something to tell you all. What I have to tell you all is that I'm so sorry, y'all. People make moves all the time and do not facilitate or engage the faculties. And that is the problem. The faculties are higher dimensional beings. That could be, for me, your spiritual core. That could be consulting your higher selves. That can mean we're just making decisions out here and not really thinking. We need to be very mindful of how we are engaging our own personal energy at all times, how we're driving, who we're reacting with, who we let in our house, how we communicate, who we communicate, and what we're saying. We need to be very mindful of it. We need to be very mindful of it, and we need to be very mindful of it. Two wrongs, we can make right and wrong moves, but we need to be aware of what's going on in the moment, in the environment, how we really feeling. So for this oracle card, for this oracle message, oh my goodness. The question is what to be mindful of during this month, during this full moon to full moon cycle. Okay, so I originally wasn't going to do this card. I was going to do those cards right there, but let's go. We have a very small fixed mentality about something, and I do not know what, but I feel it. Yeah, I feel it, bro. It's like trying something new. Urgent. Why? Why are we afraid to try something new? Like, if we already tried something and it's not giving what it's giving, if it's not allowing us to step up to be the highest person, if we really just staying in someplace because we content, like, that's really hindering us. So maybe we need to be looking at things in the 12th house as a redemption of the soul to allow oneself to continue growing up to the person that one is destined to be. So with that, Mars in the 12th house, why don't we use it as our benefit to take a step back, to realize when the feelings come up, to realize when these urges come up, to realize when these passions come up, to realize when these thoughts that come up, to use them as our benefit. Mars is very spiritual. And I feel like sometimes because one is moving so fast, we might be unaware of all the strength that we have internally at that very moment. But what if we can slow down to be aware of that, to use that, and to use it as a superpower? To use that and to use it as a superpower. Oof. To use that and to use it as a superpower. You feel me? Victory and success. Universe. You feel me? Going in the internal. You feel me? 12th is black. 12 is the womb. So we going back internal to gain victory. That's deep. That means we gotta take a step back. That means sometimes we gotta reread our steps, reread our motives, reread the maps that we previously wrote out to see, you feel me, do those roads still exist? Are they useful? What can we use for them right now? Whew. Well, what do we need to be mindful of during this full moon? It's a full moon cycle. We got 2 cards that fell out in their reverse, and it is heartache and loss, and it says memories of love. So memories of love, we need to be mindful of. When I think of that, I think of really the heart chakra. I think of all the people who have transitioned before, all the experiences, and that might be not seeing them or not seeing the benefit of them. This is a literal light here. You feel me? In the darkness, you feel me? In the darkness, the light is here. The strength, the awareness is here. But we have to be aware of it. We have to be sure. We have to feel it, the heart. Heart consciousness allows our brain and our body to keep moving, to be in balance. So how can we be more tapped into our hearts, more tapped into our memories, more tapped into our awareness and our experiences of our heart, and to use it as our benefit to grow, to not harden the heart, but to soften the heart. And it says heartache and loss. To soften the heart. This goes from a 6 to a 3. So that means we have to take a step back to realize where we are, to realize how far we come, but to realize what we are and what we need. This is a thinking card. This is a actualization. This is also like thinking, like speaking. So speaking our voice, speaking our needs, speaking validations. And maybe we have heartache and pain because of unfairities, because of being forgotten, because of maybe our awarenesses and our experiences with love. But how have you loved yourself? How have you nourished yourself? How can you nourish yourself right now? How can you forgive yourself? How can you love yourself right now? How can you honor yourself right now? How can you see yourself, validate yourself? What does that look like? We need to be mindful of how we're speaking to ourselves. We need to go internal. Bro, come on. I can't make this up. Full moon in Leo in the freedom card, bro. Oh, sorry, not the freedom. The power card is reversed. And we were just talking about our animalistic values and our animalistic ways and how we need to connect. Bro, let's go. What card is this? 8. Bro, oh my goodness. We were just talking about the 8th house. This is it, you all. This is it. Look at this. 21 makes 3. 3 is reverse. Power is 8. This will technically be right before memories. So for one to be able to remember, one has to be able, that means to remember, that means you put things together. 8 is putting things together. 8 is the partnership. 8 is the awareness. 8 is the research. So we have to go internally in our heart to find our own strength, to power up, to realize who we are, to honor who we are, but also that means getting to know who we are. Who are you? Who are you? What do you like? Who are you? What do you like? Who are you? What do you like? This was kind of a long message, and it was very critical, very hard, very stern is the word, really. And it's a whole lot of love that I truly have for you all, and a whole lot of compassion that I really have for you all. And I truly only want us to continue growing and blossoming into the person that we are destined to be. So with that, I want to pull a affirmation card. Something that we can visually say, so something that we can see, so we can work on growing ourselves like this full moon is intending us to show off our skill set, to show how unique we are, to go internal and to find our internal desires, to devote our time to our growth of ourselves, and to getting to know our mind, getting to know our ancestors, getting to know our ancestry, getting to know our children, getting to know our inner desires, getting to know our awareness of divinity. I want us to be very mindful of also movies like more paranormal activities, and the research of paranormal activities is really going to be coming up a lot. Oh my goodness. You all, I love you all. Whew. Baby, I love you all so much. This is so beautiful. Is there anything else? You all, we got one card, and it's sideways. I told you all, right now, we might be really unsure about ourselves, but this is a perfect time to gain solid footing. But to not look at other people, but to really look at yourself. Really look at yourself. Look at all these green cards. All these green cards. All these cards that saying we need to ground ourselves. We need to get out to the ground and to touch and to allow these sensory adaptations to ground us, to nourish us, to calm us down, you all. We need to set our hands in some water. Shoot. All right, you all. The first card, it says, I love my body. And it was sideways. And it says, I create peacefulness in my mind and my body. Reflects this peacefulness as perfect health. What does perfect health look like? You feel me? That's that 6th house things, that 6th degree things we was talking about. Getting aware of our habits, our health. This card, this card that fell out last. The card that fell out next was a green card. And it says, love is everywhere. And I am loving and lovable. Loving people fill my life. And I find myself easily expressing love to others. I experience love wherever I go. Oh, look at these. It's literally eggs right there. And it's a person offering it, or maybe accepting the offering. So we need to be very mindful of being receptive of things, being open to things. That's that Mars is sensitive. Mars is spiritual. So we need to be open and awareness of our own heart growth, but being receptive of it, being understanding, being compassionate. And the last card that fell out, and it was upright, y'all. That's that sacral. That's that, oh my goodness, that root chakra. And it says, I accept my uniqueness. It says, there is no competition and no comparison. Absolutely it's not. It's absolutely not. Everyone brings something unique to the table. It says, for we all are different and meant to be that way. I am special and wonderful. I love you all so much. I love you all so much. I love you all so much. It's green at the bottom. We need to ground ourselves. We need to sit in nature. We need to be open in awareness of our heart. I love you all. See you all for the weekly message.